And there are people that I don't agree with that sometimes are so impossible to be around. I just don't go around them. But I'm not on my way over to their house.
Is that why you never hang out with me unless we're here?
Yeah, that's why.
No.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah, and so anyways, I'm never taking my dog back to Brookhouse doggy daycare. No, I know what you guys have to know about this story, right? No? Oh my God. Sit down. Let me tell you a story before we get this podcast started.
Because it's a visual podcast, all of you know that the three of us are sitting down. He was talking to you.
So this famous YouTuber named Brookhouse made a YouTube video about her dog. And when she uploaded it, she accidentally uploaded the unedited version. And in the unedited version, it shows her hitting, holding down, spitting on, and punching her dog. That's a Doberman Pinscher.
Oh, my God.
So she's in jail now, right?
LAPD is apparently doing an investigation into animal cruelty.
What
She
kind
released released a very hollow and like unapologetic video. Being
I'm sorry that I was caught.
I'm not mean to my dog. I promise. I'm not usually like that. It's like it sounds like
I'm
someone that got
not
caught.
usually like that.
It's I don't know if you can find it anymore. Someone posted it on Reddit, and
So say the person's
internet
name.
exploded.
Say the name so our listeners can
Say her
It's
name.
Brookhout, Hout.
Brookhouse.
Yep.
Dog abuser, fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and say at the top of this episode, hey,
Literally-
if you
Hey,
ever listen,
don't do that to the dog.
she can eat shit.
Literally at one point in the video, she holds the Doberman Pinscher. It's just like jumping on her, trying to get her attention, and it doesn't look like it's trying to be mean to her. It's just like
Dobermans are really fucking nice dogs.
yeah, it's like jumping on her.
Yeah.
She holds it down and just goes "Tuh," and spits on it. Spits on a dog. Who spits on a dog?
Now, let me ask you this. Are we 100% sure that she accidentally uploaded the wrong video? Or did she do this as like a attention thing?
Some people think that she did it subconsciously, almost like she wanted to get caught.
Okay.
Like she knew that she had a problem.
She's got a problem, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, here it is, 53 minutes. The video is right there.
I don't want to see it.
No,
I
of course not.
I have a hard time watching shit like that, you know?
Yeah, and it's one of those things that when I found on Reddit, I was like, oh, what's this about? And I watched it and went, she must go away. She
Yeah,
must
she
go
sounds
to
like a-
prison forever.
She sounds like a real piece of
I mean,
work.
I'm glad, I guess they're investigating because that's still the right thing to do. But like, if there's a video showing it happening, what investigating do you need to do at that point?
I heard a horrible story. Speaking of like dogs and cruelty to animals and shit like that, I heard a terrible story last night. I saw our friend Brandon Cobb. Shout out Brandon. Love Brandon Cobb. He was telling me, and he's got a pit bull. You know, I don't know if he has more than one, but he's definitely got one. It's a sweet dog and it's perfect, never any problems or anything like that. But he said that several states passed laws literally just making it illegal to own a pit bull, which may be in California, Nevada, and somewhere else. But the people who already had them as pets, like they went and like killed them. They took people's pets from their homes and like euthanized them. Mm-hmm. Like that's fucking horrible.
Nope.
That's also
No.
I mean, regardless of where you stand on is a pit bull a safe animal? Like I've known tons of people that were pit bull owners and they were sweet dogs. If they're treated well, they had no problems at all. There was no problem with them whatsoever. But I understand some people have a reason to think that they're dangerous, sort of. But regardless of that, if somebody already has one, like a family pet, like literally, I guess local state government or whatever just showed up and was like, we're here to take the dog.
There's a lab pit bull mix in my family that is the nicest dog out of all the dogs in the family.
Must be the lab.
Dude. But imagine somebody just coming over to your house and going, hey, I need your pet.
I'd be like, I don't have a pet. I don't know what you're
Go
talking
kill it.
about.
Dude.
What about the doggy bowl? That's for my kids.
That's where like show me a warrant and then everything else comes into play because that can't be legal.
Well, once again,
I'd have moved.
More government.
Yep.
So
anyways, welcome to the Beacon House Podcast.
That's right. We hope anybody out there is an animal abuser, you fall in a hole and twist your ankle.
Yeah. And happier news. We did all go see a movie.
We saw a couple of movies.
We've seen several movies, I think, since we were all together. Oh, okay, first off, welcome back, Casey. You were gone last week.
Oh,
Hey.
To the magical land of Alabama. How was Alabama? Now, I did listen to the Party Chat podcast.
Really? You already listened to it?
I listened to part of it.
Okay.
And you were talking about that the drive wasn't too bad, but you said it was hot as piss.
It was hot as piss. It was so hot.
Yeah.
It was so hot. Literally, all right, so the first morning...
Like your ass is sticking to your back?
All right, so the drive... Yeah, basically. The drive down
What
there...
kind of gymnastics are you doing if
I
that
don't know what that
happens?
means. Yeah.
On the drive down there, I'm driving my car. Everything's going fine. The AC's blowing. I hit Alabama. I'm going like 80 the whole way.
Tires
And all of a
start
sudden-
melting.
All of a sudden, I just start sweating. Even with the AC blowing at 68 degrees, I'm like pouring sweat.
Holy shit,
And I
dude.
hold my hands up to the AC, and the AC's just like, help.
Yeah.
And so, like, I have to pull over at a rest stop anyways, go and use the bathroom, come back in, turn my car on, AC starts blowing just fine. It's so hot that my car was just like, I can't keep up.
Dude.
That's brutal, dude.
I know. It's rough, man. And like so how was Alabama? I haven't been to Alabama since I was like very young. I went to the Space Center in Birmingham or Huntsville.
Alabama is kind of cool.
Dude, that's what I've heard recently. And here's just in the spirit of fairness, Alabama gets a lot of shit in memes and social media for being like the I don't know, possibly the most ignorant state, or like people always just go, no,
That
Alabama.
or Mississippi.
Yeah, and like, but dude, recently I've heard like our buddy Will Christ, shout out Will, Central Depot, had to go to, I think he went to Birmingham or somewhere, and he goes, dude, I would move there. It's so rad.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So where were you in Alabama?
I was in Bresner,
Right.
which is about 20 minutes south of Birmingham.
Okay.
What's funny is I tried. So on the way down there, there's a lot of construction going on in Birmingham.
Right.
And so Jason Turner was like, "Hey, just take this other route." And I couldn't get Google Maps to do it, to like change routes, and I didn't know when to change lanes. So I found a Whataburger that was on this separate route. And so for the first 4 hours of my trip, or for the first 3 hours of my trip,
You had gas?
my Google phone thought I was driving 4 hours to go to a Whataburger. I was
Amazing.
just driving straight towards a Whataburger for 3 hours. And then finally,
Was it
when I got
worth it?
on 459, I turned it and put in Jason's address.
I mean, I've wanted a burger that bad.
Did you get the Whataburger though? I've heard good things. I've never had
Dude,
one.
Whataburger is just as good as Pal's. If you've not had Pal's Burger
I haven't
in
had
Johnson
either.
City.
I haven't had either.
You're
either.
insane.
Haven't had either.
Where's the other one?
Pal's is in Johnson City.
I mean, dude, I've had fucking Five Guys and I've had Stock and Barrel. Like, between those two, how much better could a burger possibly be?
Much better than Five Guys.
First of all,
like Five Guys.
First of
I
all,
do too. I'm
these
just being a
aren't
dick.
like Five Guys and Stock and Barrel. This is like McDonald's on steroids with Whataburger. So it's like, it's still a fast food burger, but
I get
it's
it.
the best fast food burger.
Speaking of fast food burgers, have you had the Impossible Burger from Burger King?
What a time to have my
Oh,
wife
yeah.
on.
It's amazing.
Isn't?
Yes.
Do you think it's?
Yeah, I think I ate
worth
one
the
last week
expense?
before we
You
recorded.
did.
Dude, it's the best tasting like veggie burger.
So worth the price difference between that and the veggie burger?
See,
Because Libby
I
gets
don't
both.
think they have the veggie. Well, okay, let's put it this way.
Oh, do you think they replaced it?
Maybe they still have it. It doesn't taste the same. So like I'm a big fan of like, and I'm not a vegetarian or anything, obviously, but like I've always liked veggie burgers. I like them because they're spicier.
Yeah.
And I started doing that years ago when we used to hang out at Denny's. They had a veggie burger you could get. It's called the Boca Burger. And dude, it was so good. And just kind of, I don't know, it's just nice to eat a veggie burger every now and then. I just like the taste and the whole thing. But they've come a long way. And Burger King famously has had one of the only veggie burgers you could get in the fast food world for a long time. And it's okay. It's not great. But the new thing is the Impossible, I guess it's this
Whopper
fake meat
type thing.
that you're starting to see everywhere called the Impossible Burger.
It sounds like a start to a really bad apocalypse movie.
It is
where
kinda-
everyone eats an Impossible Burger and then turns into like a monster.
Dude, it does have kind of a sci-fi because you're just sort of like, dude, it tastes awesome. And it tastes like real meat. It's pretty fucking close. You don't feel like you're eating like
so weird.
compressed onions and spices and stuff like a if you've ever had a veggie burger that's a little bit chewy, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This is not that. Like it's just like fucking straight up real meat. So, and I think if you, I don't know, depending on what you get on it, it's vegan possibly.
Do you think it's real meat disguised as veggie meat, Casey?
I don't know. Make Libby eat one and see what happens.
She did have one, but I
What
don't
happened?
think anything bad happened.
Well, then there you go.
Yeah,
Dude,
okay.
what if it really is real meat and they're just not telling anybody, and they've got some kind of a loophole where because they called it impossible, they go, we told you up front that this isn't actually possible.
Yeah.
I
And you
covered
ate
the
it anyway.
microphone so you couldn't hear what we were saying, Spencer.
Shut up.
Nice. Good one.
Anyway, but
So-
for anybody that likes that, it's worth trying Burger King's veggie burger.
I will say this: Birmingham is a foodies town for
Oh, yeah?
sure. first day, Jason made ribs, and I think I have pictures on my phone, and he does something insane that I don't know if I'm allowed to share, but I'm going to share it anyways, where he cooks the ribs for 3 hours on a grill, takes them off, puts a whole bunch of ingredients in aluminum foil. I'll leave that a secret.
Got it.
Wraps it up, ovens it for 3 hours, and then takes the juices from the aluminum foil, pours it into a mason jar with barbecue sauce, stirs it up, throws it on
I bet that's amazing.
the ribs, and then broils it for 5 minutes. And it was the best.
I bet it. That sounds insane.
I was like,
sounds amazing.
I had shit all over my face.
Oh.
I wasn't even using a plate.
You
I was like, I was just
dove
ripping.
And this is
he was
coming
trying
from-
to cut it. Like he's trying to cut it off. He's like, here
Stay
you go. And I was
clean.
like, give me 3.
God, this is coming from a guy that really has experienced some crazy cookouts. Like that cookout you brought us to was nuts. And I'm not just talking about how we went through our identity crisis. I mean, the food was the food was ridiculous.
The second day, we went to this place called the Noodle House, Saigon Noodle House, something like that. It's a Vietnamese restaurant.
Got it.
And it's the one that they're like, you have to go here for pho. Go there, get beef tendon and pho, and it was the best pho I've had.
Shit, dude.
Which is saying a lot because I love Beta Saigon. Is it pho? Am I saying it wrong?
No, pho. It's
No,
pho.
it is pho.
He's just
It's
about to
every
make
time
a
I
childish.
hear- No,
he's
no.
about to go, it's so fucking good. He's going to say
No, that's
that
the thing.
shit.
I can't not hear fuck in my head. So I'm trying to.
Anyways, I got banh mi as well, which is funny because they were looking at me like I was insane because I ordered 2 entrees, but I wanted a banh mi sandwich so bad.
Yeah, like, dude, I get it, man. So how far is Birmingham from Knoxville?
4 hours.
4 hours.
Almost exactly.
That's not
Got
bad.
it. Got it.
It was not a bad drive either. I listened to some podcasts on the way down.
Did it?
I had a Death Magnetic Metallica CD that I just found in the back of
Fucking
my
crazy.
CD case collecting dust. Put that in.
I actually like that CD.
That was a good one.
It caught a lot of shit because they, again, it's recording nerd territory, but when that CD came out, they called it the solid black line because the entire mix on the Death Magnetic CD was just jacked all the way up. Like they had the compressor and the limiter turned all the way up. So it was just loud all the time. And I think for the music, I think it works okay. I've had a good time listening to it, but people were they say it causes like ear fatigue and that it was kind of an amateur mastering job and all this stuff. But interestingly, but I actually like it. That song Cyanide on Death Magnetic is one of my favorite. It's because it gets real. That's about as rootsy, I think, as you'll ever hear Metallica get, is the song Cyanide. That's the closest you're going to hear to them sounding kind of like Deep Purple or Black Sabbath or something like that, you know. Anyway.
It's good. It's real good. But yeah, man, Birmingham was awesome. I had a great time. We made Old Fashions and recorded an episode of Party Chat. We talked about gun violence.
I know. I heard you guys were drinking Old Fashions.
Yeah.
It's very, very. I can't wait to finish the episode. So
Yeah, I started it this morning.
We get into it about video games and gun violence, and of course you've seen my picture I post on Instagram making fun of it.
Oh yeah, and I think that needs to be talked about. I think all the man, I sent you guys that real nasty text about like microaggressions and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
you did.
Like, look, man, like I'm starting to see a trend now where like comedians are starting to come back. They're starting to like listen.
They've had enough. Yeah.
This is like the worst and best time for comedy, and there's just like at some point we have to start regaining our sanity here. There's just we've got to talk about things. You know, actually, believe it or not, man, this last shooting got a lot of people to go, look, okay, this can't be a right or a left or this. We've all got to get together and talk. We've got to get together. It's the only way we're going to learn anything. And I support that 100%. But the discussion has to happen, or like something rational has to come back into the conversation.
I actually really liked David Harbour coming out and saying, I suffer from mental illness and I'm not violent. The whole like deflection that's been going on for the longest time when they tried to do it again with this one, but for the longest time it was you can't blame metal or video games anymore. That got proven out.
Right.
And then it was like, well, it's not that. It's mental illness and stuff. But as you're saying, a discussion needs to happen because there are endless factors going into all of these things. So
yeah.
And I won't go into it too much, but we do talk about mental health being a possibility for somebody having this disconnect and seeing people as nothing but just targets.
Yeah.
But then also we talk about how another factor is hate. Like it's just these people hate a certain group of people and they think this is the action best take, and it's not. So
which is demonstrably absurd.
Yeah.
That's when you talk about hate crimes and stuff, man. That's proven that there's no rationale to that at all. It just doesn't make any sense biologically or by any type of theory or reasoning. Like just to hate somebody because of the way they look or what they believe or how they're different from you or whatever, enough to create, like you don't have to go hang out with them.
Yeah.
And there are people that I don't agree with that sometimes are so impossible to be around. I just don't go around them. But I'm not on my way over to their house.
Is that why you never hang out with me unless we're here?
Yeah, that's why.
No.
Yeah, and that's why I'm on this side of the table, because fuck you. No, I'm kidding. We actually missed you a lot last week. But the thing is it's there's a difference in just disagreeing with somebody and throwing a fucking bomb through their window or whatever.
Well, I was thinking, honestly, it is because we all saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as well, but the way... and granted, Manson was trying to get a race war and stuff going, so it's not necessarily the same exact thing in detail, but in broad strokes, the polarization of society and the us versus them mentality and what you were saying, Casey, about hate driving a lot of this feels very much like Manson would love to be alive right now. Look at just the news and go, they're getting there.
Yeah,
which
totally.
is not good.
Well, and no matter what everybody's principles are, no matter what your belief structure is, no matter what your political stance is, no matter what your, I don't know, whether or not we agree on the same fucking movies and songs and stuff like that, there's always going to be certain things that unite everybody, like your humanity. You know, like that's the part that people are talking less about. They're talking more about the things that divide them. We got to get off that shit.
Yeah.
And you get back to talking about how we're all alike, and then we can learn from each other. You know, I've said this a million times, and everybody listening to this fucking knows that. But I'm starting to see it kind of swing back to maybe towards the hard sciences and towards rationale and like whatever. But
we have a good discussion about it, and in the end, we come up with the conclusion that surprisingly, video games don't lead to violence. And in fact, most people use it as a decompress if they're having a shit day to become less aggressive because they take it out on the video game instead of on somebody else.
Yeah, and man, I still believe that again, it's not a fucking substitute for physical exercise or whatever. Not that I'm the poster child for that either, but I do believe that there's a certain type of mental exercise that happens when you play video games, even simple ones on your phone.
Hand-eye coordination.
And just problem solving, your ability to produce just logical concurrences and things like that. Like that shit really does happen when you're playing games. I think that it does strengthen you in some way. I think there's definitely a positive side to it, you know. So you can't just go, you're wasting time with that, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you're getting somewhere out of it, you know.
Yeah.
So you like that it's going to be an Olympic sport soon?
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, that's something we talked about in the episode, is that they canceled an X Games event, which was based off a video game called Apex Legends, and these people were going to do like a esports event for the X Games, and they canceled the whole thing because of the shootings. They, because everyone kept talking about how video games cause violence. They canceled the movie The Hunt.
Yeah,
from
that was
Blumhouse.
the big thing that
because
went
people
around.
were like, because the right was saying that it was a movie about liberals killing Trump supporters, and the liberals were saying that it was a movie about Trump supporters killing liberals.
Can it just be a movie
about people killing people?
And here's the thing.
Can it just be a fictional fucking story?
It's a fictional story based off the most dangerous game, off a book that has nothing to fucking do with the right and left.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with politics. It's just about, I mean, if you want to go political with it, it's about the rich killing the poor.
And dude, and that's the one thing, again, that's the one thing that we actually see is true. Class warfare is like an actual that's a real thing, you know. But here's my question about that, because I saw a trailer for that movie and it looked like the movie was done.
Yeah.
It is done. It was coming out soon.
So what are they going to do? You know how much money
coming
it
out
costs?
next month.
What's it cost? Like a couple $100 million or 80 million?
Yeah.
It's got to cost a shitload of money to make a movie. What are they going to do? Just put it on the shelf? Somebody can eat?
The thought is that they're going to do what they did with The Interview and release it on streaming and just let it die.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's fucking absurd.
That's piss poor, man. Like
Not even to mention, with The Interview was an extenuating circumstance with what that was about, and that was still stupid. But The Hunt
there were
is
threats from North Korea saying they were going to like hack theaters and they're going to do. That's what I'm saying. If they put the movie
in this case, as you pointed out, there's The Most Dangerous Game, which was also a movie already, like 70, 80 years ago. And there's Surviving the Game with Ice-T. There's the entire Purge franchise, which everyone is, that's modern and everyone loves that. And we've had gun violence before and clearly during the Purge series.
John Wick 3 did pretty good.
The Purge is a TV show now too. Yeah. All these things. But now this one is the one coming out, and it's just something that...
I think it's funny that they cancel this event, they cancel this movie, they blame video games, and yet And Walmart says that they're not going to do demos of violent video games. And they, in some places, took violent video games off the shelf, and it was just like Nintendo, like Mario and sports games on the shelves. You couldn't buy, they took it all away.
But you can still buy a gun there.
But you can still buy an AR-15.
Yeah.
Or you can go down to fucking Gander Mountain when it was still open and buy a Barrett 50 cal sniper rifle. God knows what you need one of those for.
30 to 50 hogs.
What?
Fucking look it up. Like some guy was defending the AR-15 or something. And he goes, "Well, how else am I supposed to kill 30 to 50 hogs that run into my yard after my kids?" Like, and now there's all these memes about it. Anyway, but look. Well, here's the thing. You're not making anybody safer by hiding the danger from them. Picture this. If I may attempt an analogy for you guys. Imagine a kid is afraid at night. Mom, there's something in my closet. There's a monster in my closet. Mom comes in and just goes, "Here, put this mask on. That way you won't be able to see it when it comes out," and fucking plunges its claws into your neck, or
Yeah.
I'll just take the closet away.
You generally just open the closet and go, "Let's see what's going on in here," Well, that's the same thing. Like, they're still selling guns. There's still opportunities for violence. Instead of teaching people to protect themselves or to just be more alert or whatever, be safer, they just go, "Let's take these games off the shelf," Like, and the games aren't hurting anybody. And that's the terrible thing. Also, just like you said, they may not sell that game, but they're still selling a fucking rifle. Yeah. Also, we're still spending $4 billion a month to occupy Afghanistan. How many fucking guns do you think they're sending over there?
And the biggest problem is the fact that this stuff still works on the populace anyways, where the politicians can scapegoat something, which is, we all know that's what it is. It's just, what thing can we point to so we don't have to actually talk about it anymore? Demonize another thing, it becomes a witch hunt. And then they grab the population by the dick and just jerk them around wherever they want. And the thing that I found most encouraging was where that has been the case, that's still happening, but I noticed more so than ever. I thought the online outcry was no longer, "No, it's this," or "It's that." It was everyone going, "Hey, you fucking idiots, it's not video games, it's not this." And some kind of social awareness is becoming more common, where people are like, you can't just point at a thing and blame it when it didn't pull the trigger.
Exactly. There's such a thing as crime, and we've been dealing with it for a long time, and there's not a one-size-fits-all answer.
Which is what they want.
Exactly.
What were you going to say, Casey?
I have the best idea for a short now, where
Bounce House?
No, one of us or two of us, or maybe even all three of us, are going to play FBI agents going through someone's house that just did a shooting, and in the background there's going to be like Helter Skelter, Charles Manson posters, and like a skin suit and all this weird shit. We're gonna like move pill bottles away, be like video games, and just keep finding video games and movies and music to blame it on. Even there's like a gun rack behind us, and we're like, nah, it can't be that stuff. But look, he listened to Masters P make him say like twice today.
We're gonna find like even like old Atari Pac-Man game. Oh, here we go. Like you move a box of bullets off the nightstand and reach for like an old like Activision Pitfall game. Oh, fucking right here, dude. Look at this violence.
We can get some EC Comics and bring up Dr. whatever the fuck his name is that did the Seduction of the Innocent article back 60
Anarchist
years ago.
Cookbook.
I was
going
to
to
say,
and there's a Call of Duty underneath.
I was going to say the Anarchist Cookbook, You're like, oh,
all right.
What do you think this
You heard
could
it
be?
Here, copyrighted first or whatever, however you want to call it. We're making
To be fair, whoever we're searching for this skit has to have at least 60 hogs hung up in the back.
Or at least 30 to 50. Listen, all right, so anyway, moving past that, but I'm glad you guys did it. And I very much believe that the Party Chat episode probably has a lot more to say about violence in video games than we do. But by all means, God, Jesus, man, just be rational. Whatever you guys do, think about things rationally. What you wanted to talk about some of the movies.
Yeah. So first of all,
story.
Don't go see Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Oh,
and
wait.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Whoa,
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Jeez,
Hot take.
Well, nice talking to you guys. See you next week.
I was so let down
on Scary Stories.
I want to find out what you guys didn't like about it, because I did like it overall. I had only 2 problems with it that came at the end.
It's a movie based on my childhood ghost stories, which I understand it being a kid's scary story, like scary movie. Mm-hmm. But you can definitely tell that halfway through filming, some producer was like, you got to make it more for kids, less for adults. Even though adults were the people who bought these books are now adults, you got to make it more for kids. And like, because with the scarecrow scene where the kid's like shooting hay out of his mouth, and it's violent. And you're
It
like,
was
oh my
awesome.
God.
It was awesome.
And that was the last time. After that, it was like very like, come on, Timmy, I love you. Let's go. The power of love will stop this. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, man.
I'll give you that, yeah.
It started out like it was going to shred, and then it really did get really watered down, man. I don't know. Again, I was hoping to see a movie that brings all those stories and that amazing artwork. Let's just go ahead and say that out of the entire movie franchise, the whole thing, and I'm even going to say Alvin Schwartz's storylines, I think all of that shit pales in comparison to the phenomenal artwork of Stephen Gammell.
100%.
Yeah. And I think the best thing the movie did was doing its utmost to realize those drawings in three-dimensional form.
And it really did a good job. The stuff really did look like the shit
Pale Lady
in the book. But I'll still say that the experience I had watching that movie was 100% not as exciting as the most run-of-the-mill experience I've had in a bookstore walking by any of those books and just seeing the cover.
That's fair.
Or Googling his artwork, or... I mean, that to me is the real star of the whole thing. So I didn't really get that. I got a lot of kids running around trying to solve a mystery kind of a thing, you know, and like being different and having to overcome it. And like, I don't know, man, carrying this fucking book around. I just didn't see the images as much as I wanted to. And I just don't think the stories are that good. So I don't know.
And here's the thing is you could have taken, like they could have taken shots and made or had Stephen Gammell or somebody who does his artwork very well and done like the whole town. And then it like, you know, fades into the actual reel and just do that all over the place. Like every time the scene cuts, like have like this weird looking artwork. And then
I was hoping more for like a collection of short stories that weren't necessarily related by one big story.
Instead of like an anthology to
like the old Tales from the Dark Side or the Twilight Zone, the movie or something.
Yeah.
or
like,
Trick or Treat.
Yeah. Like an anthology kind of a thing. But instead you just got this one, kids are on bikes going to save. I'm just like, fuck,
I do have to say, I thought that part wasn't as bad for me as it was for you guys, but Trick or Treat definitely just slayed way more the idea of it's an anthology, but there is a tiny through line that you can follow.
Yeah. Well, like
beginning
Stephen
to
King's
end.
Cat's Eye. Did you guys ever see Cat's Eye?
Yeah.
Is that a movie?
Fuck. So good. And
I didn't know that was a movie.
Oh, you follow this cat?
Yeah.
To all these different, and it's actually a cat that's going to like, it goes to like New York City and gets involved in this crazy, that guy on the building. And dude, watch Stephen King's Cat's Eye.
Okay.
It actually has a story. Like that fucking scary story, you should have sat down and watched that before they went into production, you know?
So here's the thing is I've been told that I like movies and I don't dislike movies. I have trouble shitting on movies. I have no problem with this one.
Yeah.
We finally found a movie Casey didn't like. In fact, that's what you said walking out of theater. He goes, we finally found one I don't like.
That's actually the first thing out of Casey's mouth.
I will say special effects
Amazing.
when they were practical and not a CGI Jangle Man were great. I thought the Jangle Man was
the weakest part.
Ugh.
I found
I
out
don't even remember that in the books. I think that was made up for this movie.
Possibly.
that was mostly practical to my shock. I found a video of it on YouTube, the behind the scenes stuff. And that baffles me because that was the worst part of the film visually. It looked just like fake putty computer
We're in
crap.
2019. You can't make something look a little more realistic than fucking Jar Jar Binks off
No,
the
I'm with you.
prequels.
Yeah.
Zing. No, I get it. So,
Also, just for those of you that are able to not hate the story, because again, these two did. I didn't, but it didn't do much for me. That
Power
bit
of
at the-
love solves all.
Well, to that point, it wasn't that specifically, but what the girl said at the end, where she was like, what I learned from the ghost was to, I'm paraphrasing, but to persevere. And I was like, hold up. Perseverance is not the lesson we learn here. She didn't persevere. She couldn't die because she was a vengeful spirit, and she murdered your fucking friends and family.
True.
Perseverance is not the lesson to learn here. You dumb asshole.
I will say. Oh, Hunter, your
for the
Hunter, your
listeners,
Bible. What
for the listeners, after Hunter said that, he looked at me as if he was surprised it came out. Like you looked at me like you didn't know.
I was editing as that was coming out of my
You
mouth.
looked like we were at dinner and you farted and you were surprised by it. You went.
I kept picturing the young actress, and I was like, it's
Oh.
not her fault. Is what she was told to say.
Well, and I will.
It drives me up a wall that this is the same movie that was made by the guy that made Troll Hunter.
I know, dude. I know.
It makes me so
I know.
sad.
I know. And you know what?
Hunter's so fucking good.
Troll Hunter is so fucking good, dude. I will get. We should do an entire
On Troll
bonus
Hunter?
episode on Troll
Please,
Hunter.
yes.
but we'd have to all get together and watch it together.
Together?
Yeah.
Oh.
I would love to record the podcast while we watch it.
Yeah, audio visual finally.
Oh, that
and
would
then
be
just
fucking
kind of
rad.
edit it.
Okay, yeah.
Do either of you own it?
No, but
I do.
It's on. It's on.
Well,
Hulu
I have the DVD.
and Shudder and Steam.
I have the
and
hard
Netflix.
copy disc.
I don't give a fuck.
No, you don't.
dude, I will say this about Scary Stories, and then we can move on. Like, want to be fair and to play devil's advocate, like, it didn't do necessarily what we wanted it to do, but I can imagine with, again, everything comes down to fucking money, you know, for production value and all this shit. I would imagine if they're trying to, like, kind of resurrect it for a whole new generation of kids,
This probably did it.
that they probably were sort of like, all right, look, man, we're going to have a lot of, like, you know, 30 and 40-year-old adults that are dying to see this, but they've already bought the book. They already have the book. We need to sell this to a whole new generation of kids, so we're going to target kids. And I get it. They're trying to keep it alive, and okay, whatever. And when the kid goes to the bookstore, here's what I would hope. At the end of the day, they see the movie, and they go, wait, what happened? And they go to the bookstore, and they actually get the real book. They'll see all that gorgeous artwork, and they'll have that original experience, and the movie won't matter that much. If it gets them in the store to buy the book, golden.
Sure.
The only shining light for me is that they gave me a good Harold storytelling.
That was really good.
It told me the story of Harold through, you know, a movie, like through the movie's eyes, and it was actually really well done. And then everything after that was.
Was Harold your favorite too, Spencer?
Yeah, probably.
Mine
Yeah.
was actually the toe, and not the.
They didn't show that enough. I wanted to
That
see
was the
that
thing.
more.
I thought that costume was through the roof, gnarly. That one messed me up. At everything else
the
in the movie,
creatures
whatever.
looked good. I mean, the stuff looked good. It was just like it's
right.
almost like they fell into a completely unrelated story.
They fell into edgy Goosebumps.
I want to say that
That's true.
It's
That's
what it
exactly.
is.
It's like you just dropped them into Goosebumps.
I want to say that I want to hope that this is not what the director really wanted. And maybe there's going to be a director's cut floating around that'll be better. And this was like
Ooh, that'd be
executive
great.
producers and higher ups being like, no, you got to make it more aimed towards children.
because of the source material and stuff. But
Yeah.
knowing the director's past work, there's got to be a real gnarly R-rated.
If they release a DVD that's like unrated director's cut, I would pick that up and watch it.
I get it. So, moving on from that, the other movie we all saw, Once
Oh,
Upon
I
a Time in
can't wait.
I
Hollywood.
can't wait to talk about this one.
It has done very well in the reviews. Not everybody was thrilled by it. Some people thought it was a little slow. Some people, but what did you guys? What's your initial impressions about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I did not think that movie was 2 hours and like 49 minutes long. It
Yeah,
did
it
not
did
feel
not
like
feel
that.
like it.
It felt short, sweet. The acting, once again, the acting and the dialogue was wonderful. Tarantino shows that he definitely has a foot fetish, big time. Like you
it
can't
hits,
hide
it
from
hits
it.
you. There's just feet all up in the
Dirty,
screen. Oh,
dirty hippie feet up on the window. Which I went to go see it with a buddy of mine.
I didn't think about it until,
And
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was like, during that party, he was like, "Get your feet off the fucking window." Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved it.
So, regretting that I've never seen a Tarantino film in theaters before this one, which
What?
yeah, this is my first theatrical Tarantino.
oh, interesting.
Yeah. Most of that not on purpose, but it just always shook out that way. But for the experience, I love that this was my first go around in a big screen and giant surround sound
Right.
that's deafening. For the ending alone, the movie's amazing. But
God, that
that was the thing I was the most afraid of because I saw it after you guys by a couple days.
Sure.
And
no.
God bless you, Spencer. You're so hyperbolic. He kept saying in the text, like, the ending's incredible. And I was like, I'm going to hate the ending.
You
It's
can't
too,
hate that ending.
You can't. I wasn't ready for it. You were so right. It was
Yep.
bar none.
I don't want to get there yet because
No,
I
not
want to do
yet.
a spoiler alert and really talk about it.
For sure.
Back to the hippies.
But I thought Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh,
And
also-
I did not feel like it was short, though. It did feel a little long to me at times.
In what
but
parts?
Just like in the middle, when there's a lot of,
when they're filming the Western with Leo and he keeps fucking up the line
I love that so much.
and he goes back to his trailer and just loses it.
Yeah.
I was like, fucking give that man another Oscar.
dude.
Only because Brad Pitt was also in this movie does he not deserve it.
Definitely
He should get supporting.
Definitely this is definitely my favorite character Brad Pitt has ever played.
Agreed.
I'm the devil and I'm here to do the devil's work.
I
Now,
loved the character Brad Pitt
Something
played.
stupid.
You also managed to not oversell that. That was the other thing I was going to say.
Well, he's a pretty famous actor, so that in itself is such a polarizing statement
No.
to go
Yeah,
like,
but
this
I
is Brad
agree
Pitt's best character.
wholeheartedly.
And they modeled it after Billy Jack.
I was just about to say.
I forgot about that.
I watched Billy Jack as a kid because it's like my dad's favorite movie.
Okay.
So he showed me Billy Jack. I mean, the whole I'm going to put this side of my foot on that side of your face.
On this side of your face, yeah.
That's my dad's favorite. So he showed me Billy Jack as a kid. Watching this movie was just like they need to reboot Billy Jack with Brad Pitt 100%.
I'd buy a ticket twice.
Dude, like I loved it. I thought it was great. What did you guys think about the Bruce Lee part? That's a big controversy. Like, was it disrespectful to Bruce Lee? His daughter said it was. They said he made her dad look like an asshole.
First of all, different timeline.
Mm-hmm.
I won't get into it just yet. Different timeline. Second of all, if you think that your dad, when he's around his buddies on a movie set, drinking and shooting the shit, didn't talk a bunch of shit because he's the kung fu master, you're out of your goddamn mind.
Agreed.
Do you feel like he probably acted like that in real life?
It felt
maybe not as dramatic like that, but there's no way he wasn't like around a bunch of dudes being like, these hands are lethal and I'll fucking kill you with them.
Yeah. It felt weird at first, but it took 5 seconds to get on board with it because it was clear that what they were doing was we're going to show you how badass Brad Pitt is, not how petty Bruce Lee is.
Right.
And that's just everyone.
And Bruce Lee was involved in movies at that time. Like, this is all...
Yeah. Him teaching Sharon Tate her fight scene for that movie is totally accurate.
Yeah.
So this was obviously... Like, this is the whole people that are like, Superman would never lose because he's Superman. That's not a good enough reason. Like, if somebody that's undefeatable is defeated in fiction, it's probably because the author is trying to let you know how bad this dude really is.
Sure.
Not because they're trying to drag down your wet dream of a hero. Like, get over yourself. Right. Not the daughter, but like everybody else.
Well, and man, they talked about this on the Rogan podcast, and he was like, Bruce Lee didn't do a whole lot of fighting. Like, he was very famous and he was very good at what he did. He was a great actor and he was a good martial artist, but he wasn't involved in a lot of like bouts. Like, he didn't fight like MMA guys all the time. He didn't fight. He might have had a couple matches, but like for the most part, Bruce Lee wasn't like a experienced fighter.
Yeah.
Which nobody wants to hear that, but he was mostly an actor. I'm sure he could kick somebody's fucking ass if he had to. I'm sure he was probably the fastest.
I think more than anything, Billy, he's
Jack. Just Billy Jack from now on.
I think Bruce Lee's daughter, more than anything, is upset that Brad Pitt threw him into a fucking car. That would be upsetting to me because that's basically someone saying my dad can beat up your dad and then showing me.
Basically. And nobody won the fight. Like, he was getting back up to possibly kill Brad Pitt.
And that was a note from Brad Pitt, too. I read it. And I think good on him for that because you get the point across with the 2 rounds, and then not having a discernible winner means that no one has to get their panties in a wad about it.
Exactly. But man, I thought just the way they drummed up, there were so many cameos in this movie. Kevin Smith's daughter is in it.
Timothy Oliphant.
Dude.
Was amazing.
He was amazing. There's just a lot of things to love about Once Upon a Time. And again, it's a love letter to the golden age of Hollywood ending.
Big time.
And I will say that I'm glad that I'm not the only one. There was a lot of people out there who were confused by Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because a lot of people thought it was going to be more of a horror movie because they thought it was going to focus more on the Manson murders.
And see, I heard everybody say that, and I was never under that impression.
It was 110% announced that way. His next movie comes out on the 50th anniversary of the Manson murders, and it involves them. And in all the previews, they show you Brad Pitt looking off to the side, and then that one shot of Manson walking. And even though Manson has all of 75 seconds of screen time in the movie, the previews make you think like it's going to be the story of Brad Pitt joining the Klan. Real misleading marketing.
To me, one of the most exciting things in the movie is how what a fucking time machine it was. Like, how all the cars in the movie are beautiful, restored, perfect. And it's not just like the car the characters are in. Every other car around them they turned the entire Sunset Strip into like 1969.
It was awesome.
The amount of attention to detail was just crazy.
And I love that Brad Pitt drives Leo around all slow and like very good. And then he gets in his car and just tears ass down the hill.
Yeah, and the car that he gets in, I forget what it's called, but Quentin Tarantino's mom used to have one. And that,
oh, really?
Yeah, Carmen Gia or something like that.
Let's talk about that relationship, though, the two of them.
Are we going to get into spoiler territory here? Or is it time
I think we're gearing up for it.
Sure.
Okay.
Maybe not.
So, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood,
Brad
turn this
Pitt,
off, go watch it because you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brad Pitt and and DiCaprio's relationship in the movie was amazing. I thought the way that Brad Pitt played the best friend that has problems but is still useful and does care about you, but he's just lost in the winds of life, and Leo's trying to keep him around, but just far enough away that it won't damage his image.
Yeah,
All
Leo's
that was,
kind of a piece of shit to him in a way.
Yeah.
Like, even though you could tell there's like a friendship.
they genuinely care about each other,
yeah.
but one of them is definitely using the other.
Exactly. So there's this very, very interesting dynamic between the two of them.
And you can tell
it's not 100% comfortable.
Yeah, and Brad knows it, but he's okay with it because he loves Leo.
Yeah.
So
And what else is he going to
loved
do? He's just like this simple, easygoing, badass guy that with a dog, and like the cans of dog food. There's just so much about that.
I actually thought of you every time he was with his dog. I know you have cats instead, but I was like, it's totally Spencer right now.
Dude, there's a scene where and the guy's still got it. This guy's still got it. I mean, he wasn't portrayed in this movie as like this big shredded hunk, but there's that scene where he goes up on the roof and he takes his shirt off. When that happened in the theater we were in, all the women in the theater gasped. Like, I swear to God, there was no. I mean, literally, he went up on the roof, and everybody just goes, "Oh!" I mean, that dude.
Hunter got a semi,
like a half chub. You got Lil Chub.
Shout out Ferg.
Shout out Ferg.
Lil Chub.
Lil Chub. Yeah, dude, I thought it was amazing, and it crescendoed so well, and like I could have used a little more. I was kind of waiting to see about Sharon Tate, like what was going to happen. I thought Margot Robbie was really good as her, and like it was so charming when she goes to see the movie of herself, you know, like all by herself, and she like has to ask if she can go in, and like it's just very sweet and like blah blah blah. And I felt like, again, spoilers if you guys haven't seen it, I felt like, oh man, they're really 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 painting her as this nice person because they're about to fucking act.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I got so wound, like white knuckled,
dude.
nervous at the end of that movie.
Let me say that even though Manson's not in this very much, his presence was painted all over this movie.
Like very large,
with all the kids walking around. Which, by the way, Kevin Smith's daughter is one of the hippie chicks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The girl from Stranger Things is the one that
drives away.
But just having like these shots of Brad Pitt and Leo driving around, and he always seeing like hippie people walk in, and they're like carrying shit. You could tell it was the time of like the Manson family.
Yes.
When he goes to the ranch is the first time I like was gripping the handles of my seat.
Yeah, I actually thought he was going to bite it there.
Oh, I 100% thought they were
like
gonna
when he goes
murder
into the house,
shit out of him.
He goes in that house. And I was like, oh, this is where he's going to get killed. And then
Dakota Fanning's going to kill Brad.
Yeah, Dakota Fanning is in there. Yeah, dude,
was that Dakota?
That was totally Dakota Fanning.
Yeah,
the
dude.
redhead.
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, the trash leader that was. Yeah, Dakota Fanning.
Fuck.
And then he just walked right out, and then they had that little, that tiny altercation about the tire. But
I love that.
It was so fucking...
Can I get a rag? No, fix my tire.
dude,
if any of you come any closer, he's going to swallow his teeth.
Dude, he
So
beat
good.
the shit out of that guy.
Yeah, he did.
Like
With old-fashioned movie-style punches, too. Like
Billy
they weren't-
Jack. He did
Yeah,
Billy
totally.
Jack on that fucking
I'm
guy.
gonna put this side of my foot on that side of your
He's
face.
so good.
Yeah, man, and the tension of just seeing him go to that ranch and go in and out, and like you're just like, oh my god, when you just think they're gonna get him. It looked like it looked like when the good guy bites it. It
Yeah.
looked like it was gonna. It wasn't. I loved it.
If that was a Martin Scorsese film, Brad Pitt would have died a bloody death right there.
Yes, it would have been sorrowful. Yeah, dude. And then the ending, like,
Let's get to the ending. The rewriting of history to right a wrong. I love that Tarantino does that.
yeah,
The vengeance against Hitler and Inglourious Basterds.
Oh, yeah.
Just done
I
tenfold here.
giggled the entire end of that movie. I was just
I
going,
thought they at one point I
Get
thought they
him.
had killed Brad Pitt, and I was like, oh man! But then it turns out
Yeah.
he's not dead, and like, it just fuck, man. Like
His
that-
dog kicked
Wait,
so
you
much
can't-
ass in
you
that fight,
can't-
too.
when did you think he died?
there's
got
a point where he gets
stabbed
stabbed
real
and he
bad.
goes down.
Well, he gets stabbed in the butt.
Well, it looked to me like it was the ribs, but it
It
was
looked
all
like a kidney thing
Yeah,
to
it was
me.
dark in there too, and I was like, "Fuck, they're gonna get him." Like Leo might get out of this alive, but I mean, dude, there's not much you can say. Like, just see it. If anybody's not seen it, just go see it. It's possibly one of the best endings, if not the best ending I've maybe ever seen to a
It's
movie.
also my favorite use of a corded phone, a wall phone in
Oh my
history.
god!
None
Oh
of
my
those
God.
three kids saw that dog, and he had just smoked that acid cigarette,
Dude.
and he was like,
Are you even here for real?
whoa. I recognize you, man. Who are you? I'm the devil. I'm here to do the devil's work. He goes, no, something stupider than that. Something like Rex. And the girl's like, get him, Tex. He's like, that's it.
Yes, so
dude.
Brad Pitt was amazing in that scene.
It was absolutely, and then the whole point when like the girl's out in the pool and like she's just going crazy after she's been chewed up by the dog.
Leo's reaction.
That was a total like throwback to like old like Valley of the Dolls type, like just insane '60s acting and stuff like that. Like there was a lot, man. There was a lot to be. Just even if you just watch this movie and you go like, this movie's very entertaining and all this stuff happens. You're missing something. Every scene means something. Every scene has like some significance to it. Like this, it's so deep. It's got so many layers that go back. Like the movie's so smart in a lot of ways that maybe you don't think. Now, if you don't like the movie, you don't like the movie. If you think it was too slow or it didn't zig when it should have zagged or whatever, fair enough. But he put a lot of things into the movie that are just like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of his movies are kind of a treasure chest.
Yeah.
Of things. And here's another thing too. Somebody, I think I heard somebody say, this is not an original thought, but this really stuck to me. When you watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you can tell you're watching a movie that's been made by a guy who loves movies.
100%.
Not just somebody that's kind of good at a thing and it's their day job. And I'm not saying all directors are like that, but I'm saying this is a guy that just can't get enough of the cinematic experience.
It's also a guy that funds his own projects and has people in his corner that help fund the projects, and you don't have like higher ups telling him to change shit.
Yeah.
They just let him do it. They let him do his work because they know it's going to be great.
That's a fact. So I think it's endlessly impressive, and I would recommend it to anybody to go see. What do you guys think? It's two questions. We're getting kind of long here, so let's wrap on 2 questions. What do you think is going to be the 10th movie, the last movie?
It's got to be a horror movie. He said he's gonna cover every genre, and he's yet to do a horror movie.
Planet Terror? Or no, he did.
He's also waffled though, because recently with that Star Trek thing that he's doing, he's been saying that's separate. It's 10 original films, and then he came out again and said that will be my last movie because it's the 10th. So he's going back and forth. A lot of people say that this is his 10th film because Kill Bill had 2 volumes, but he said Kill Bill is only one movie, just in 2 split
parts.
into 2, yeah.
And he admittedly called this his 9th film.
Yeah.
He did say this is just going to be one more. So, oh my God, can you imagine? And this, I feel like, is a really good setup to the final one because this one was good.
I would love a horror film by him.
I like this
straight up horror film.
Okay, then that brings me to my second question. How would you rank this in like the top, I don't know, let's say the top 3 Tarantino?
Everyone's going to be mad at me, but I liked it more than Pulp Fiction.
Okay, I mean, that's
just that ending for me was so fucking good, and it's what I wanted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't know I wanted it until I saw it and was like, that's exactly what I wanted.
I get it.
So I don't know. I think it's my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie right now.
No shit.
I was going to say it's my number 1.
It is for you too also?
Yeah.
Really? What would you...
It's super fresh though, to be fair, so maybe revisiting it.
That's true.
What would you say for your number 2 and 3? Like Hunter, what are your top... rank your top 3 Tarantino?
Well, come back to me because I missed a lot of him growing up, so he's not...
What would you say, Keith?
I would say my top 3 are Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Inglourious Bastards, and Django Unchained.
Fucking A, okay.
They're all 3 different movies, and they're all 3...
Pulp Fiction's not even in your top 3. Incredible.
I know it's weird. I didn't grow up with Pulp Fiction.
You feel how you feel?
I grew up with those other 3.
Yeah.
And so seeing those as like a teenager in my 20s and things like that, those stuck with me more than going back and watching Pulp Fiction on a Blu-ray.
That's fair.
I actually, I see. That's why I was forgetting one of them. It was Bastards. I share Casey's list 100% as top 3. And honestly, it's like Carpenter has his Apocalypse trilogy.
Right.
These feel like the histories, the Tarantino histories. World War II, slave era, and then the end of Hollywood. But they all have alternative takes on how bad guys eat it in ways that they never did in life in those eras.
That's fair.
So it's like his histories, kind of.
Man, it's hard to...
Thematic trilogy.
And the end of Inglourious Bastards, when you think Christoph Waltz got away, I was so mad, and then Brad Pitt showed up from Maynardville, Tennessee, and gave him that nice little scar.
I think Pulp Fiction's obviously going to be my number 1, and then, possibly this new one, maybe Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, could be second place for me.
Yeah,
I liked it that much. Again, it's been a while since I've seen a lot of them.
Do you guys count Dusk Till Dawn since that was a with Rodriguez? Does that
I don't
count?
I don't usually count that, but I am entertained by it. George Clooney annoyed me a little bit in that, but all in all, I thought it was an entertaining
Selma
movie.
Hayek.
I'd say for my third, probably
Strange for me as a teenager.
Probably Inglourious Bastards. I think Inglourious Bastards probably would be my third place. I think it stays up there pretty.
So you've got Pulp Fiction.
But man, there's also Jackie Brown. Django is really, really good. Reservoir Dogs. Dude.
I
haven't
seen Jackie Brown.
I might like Reservoir Dogs better. It had De Niro in it and shit. It was
Jackie
Brown, yeah.
I'm not even able to recall it. I have to go look that one up.
Dude, Reservoir Dogs might actually be my number 3. I don't know. I liked it a lot. So, it's whatever. But
I think, honestly, I just like Brad Pitt, Christoph Waltz, Leo, and Jamie Foxx in all of Tarantino movies.
Yeah.
Like
if he can get the 4 of them together for the 10th one, please.
Oof.
Can you imagine?
Oof.
Dude.
That's a lot of money.
It's funny. None of us said Kill Bill. That's weird.
Honestly,
I could care less about Kill Bill.
I don't like it at all.
Really?
I know everyone's so mad at me. Anytime I bring it up, like I bring this movie up, and I'm like, oh, Kill Bill, and I'm like, fuck Kill Bill.
I'm with you. I don't dislike it, but it just doesn't do anything for me.
It was too campy.
I'd like to revisit it though.
I'm not a big fan of Uma Thurman. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion or not.
Is she a thorn in your side?
No, more like a knife.
Zing.
A poisonous thorn.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us.
Is that a poison
today.
ivy joke?
Totally
you
was.
fuck.
I brought 97 Batman into the podcast.
I'm gonna throw water on you.
Oh shit!
Please end this. Get me out of here.
We're going to do it. Casey, welcome back from Alabama.
Thank you.
We're glad you made it back safe. And guys, drop us a line. Let us know. We are getting close to episode 80.
Are we just gonna do a normal mailbag?
I don't know what we're going to do. So, but if you listen to this, go ahead and start sending questions.
Yes,
we're either going to answer them here on the podcast, or we're going to do them live somewhere where we can meet up with you guys. Or I don't know. We'll have to figure something out. But we're getting close. This is going to be episode 78.
Yep.
So we got 2 more to go, man. So be ready for it.
Toot toot.
We will meet up with you guys somewhere. We'll definitely take some questions, do whatever we got to do. And then we got another live event coming up pretty soon. We'll figure something out. There's going to be a lot going on. We're moving into the fall, and that's when we have a lot of shit going on.
Get crazy.
Video games cause mass shootings. Fucking idiots. Oh, no. We need to do something else? I don't think Spencer liked that enough.
No, I just paused to make you guys uncomfortable.
We should edit that out.
I think we should just keep talking until he cuts it.
I'm leaving it.
Just mid-sentence. We're going to have the whole
like
thing.
The Sopranos?
Yeah.
Dude, don't cut me mid-sentence. Oh, my.